maybe even stacking them sort of totally take into consideration all of the things that we've seen in this trial, whether it's something that amounted to a conviction or not. The judge sat there and saw it. If the judge believed that that's the type of person he is, then the judge would be justified in believing that he is in more need of rehabilitation than someone who had not done all those things, even if they're barred by the statute of limitations of California. Now, what I expect the judge to do...
Don't fuck me on my side.
Difference. A lot of times we see that with newbie judges.
He's saying, give him an excuse, fine. Don't goddamn mess when I'm about to knock it right into there.
Straight probation. The prosecutor wants the max. I'm going to do something in the middle because I want to be seen as being fair. I'm still making my bones here in the federal judiciary. So I think I would expect...
Why are you blocking my shot, teammate? Why are you goddamn brain dead?
I'll make it a little personal, right? So, the Weinstein case, right? He's a pump charge, but he's still facing basically like prison.
Yeah, too bad, because I could have shot that right in the goddamn goal!
He gets sentenced to something where he can see the light at the end of the tunnel in 2 years or 3 years in New York. And you know what? I did my job because God was handed a case that was sentenced to 23 years, which was the death penalty. And I gave him an opportunity. If he could stay healthy in prison, he could get out. Of course, we got to win the California appeal. The same thing holds true here. Although we all agree this is a huge victory for the defense attorneys. If the judge does what Phil says and says, I think you're pretty distinct, but you pissed in a woman's mouth because she was gagging. Like, I'm sorry, sir. I can't get that out of my mind. So I'm sentencing you to 10 years on one, 10 years on Cassie, because that's what you pissed in her mouth, and 5 on the other.
That's right, young my name.
It's got to be like a dozen years. Then, even though the lawyers did the best they could, I don't think Sean Palmer's going to put 12 years in prison as a victory. So the last chapter of this book has not been...
I'm the magic bitch.
I know you got to run quickly. When you get sentenced in federal court, you have to serve the whole sentence.
85%. I'm pretty sure 85%.
I'm not begging money. I'm in magic bitch.
A lot of the ways to get out of prison early. We represent Ghislaine Maxwell. We're trying to at least get her into a nicer facility. We're not even asking her to be released. We can get her out of a maximum facility. But when you're convicted of a sex crime, a lot of the rules go out the window.
Crazy.
I know you got to run. Thanks for doing this. All the best.
Thank you. No problem.
Great.
I get my stone and listen to you.
It's from the New York Times. What happened during the verdict? As the sex trafficking counts came on which he was found. Members of his family, his legal team, began to cry. When the full verdict had been read, Mr. Combs turned to his family house to go home. And yeah, it may be. And then let me give you another piece. CNN reports that Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, I know him well, gave the following statement. This case and change is long overdue. Cassie Ventura paved the way for a jury to find Sean Diddy Combs guilty on some of the counts against him. This entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Continued by coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. Her exemplary courage throughout the trial brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades. I've got to say, the only part of that strikes me as real is the last one, where, yes, if she hadn't come forward, he wouldn't have been exposed. That is true, but it's a sweet lawyer trying to spin her courage in taking a stand as some sort of a win, and it just wasn't a win. They barely believed anything she said, or if they did, they just didn't think it was a legal problem. They didn't think it rose to the level of criminality. They appear to have bought the defense's argument on Cassie, not the prosecution's stuff.
It seems that her words that she has used that expressed, I'm just generalizing and putting it all together, her words that, whether it was text messages or other, that indicated that she was something of a willing participant, in fact, eager to participate in some of this. I can see. This is not my belief, but I can see how a jury might
I can
see
get my retarded teammates out of the way.
this is a little bit of buyer's remorse, and that she sees things differently through the lens of hindsight than it really was when all this was going on. And we spoke about reasonable doubt. And if you're on the jury and the judge says, if you have a doubt on which a reason can be attached, it is your duty to acquit. Then if the jurors are following those instructions, that means a lot. And if you're in the jury room and you say, look, well, I think he's a bad guy and probably did, pressure her, but she made these statements and she expressed some willingness to be there. So according to the judge, this is a doubt in my brain, and I've got a duty to acquit on that charge. And I think that's really probably the best way to explain it. And it's also true, by the way, that had she not been willing to come forward and testify, we wouldn't have had this trial, and we wouldn't have the convictions that we do have. Back to what you were saying, I don't know who you said reported this, but somebody was reporting that he's waving his fist saying, I'm coming home. That might be a little bit premature, and I don't know if his lawyers have maybe told him that, okay,
Denied! Swatted away! left. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. They've done it!